All right, thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this exciting session. We have Mr. Jonathan Zeman, CEO of the Lan Kwai Fong Group, whose family name has mostly been associated with, the entertainment establishment of Hong Kong. Yes. I think most of the adjectives being used are legendary, or the Hong Kong entertainment tycoon. People have been using that to introduce and describe your family.
Yes.
And also we have two of the most famous startups here in Hong Kong, Ray Chen from 9gag and Steven from Gogovan. I'm sure if you're from Hong Kong, these are basically everyday names that we all have to become very familiar with. I'll start up with my own bias. I came to Hong Kong 4 years ago as a journalist. Spent most of my career before in Beijing. Obviously, I was a little bit more familiar with the startup scene back there. And when I first came here, I asked my reporters to brief me on Hong Kong's startup scene, because obviously we were going after the younger generation of readers, very interested in what a Hong Kong startup would look like. And most of the time, the answer I got from my reporters, from the people we tried to interview, was what startup scene? So obviously, I was a little surprised when I read the headline here that Hong Kong has been voted one of the top 5 most friendly ecosystems for startups in the world. Because if you listen to us media types in Hong Kong, you read about all the negative stuff. There hardly seem to be any condition here for a startup to, number one, start, not to mention survive and thrive, actually like you guys have done. So obviously, we've all heard your names for a long time, so I would like to ask Ray to start with your startup story. And you have been around for quite a long time, how you have survived so far, and why do you think whether Hong Kong is still important? And given the current economic difficulties right now, what do you think about the future?
Yeah, first of all, 9gag, we make people happy. That's the company mission. Yeah, and right now we reach over 100 million people all over the world every month. We have about 30 million fans on Facebook, 30 million followers on Instagram, something like that. But those are the numbers, which is still much smaller than Facebook. Yeah, but the thing is, survival is pretty easy if you pay yourself a very low salary. Yeah, and work at home or work at your parents' home. Yeah. So I think survival is not that difficult, but how to really grow the business, I think that's, I would say that's always challenging, but not because of the economic situation in Hong Kong right now, but it's always difficult to build a meaningful business for a very long time.
Yeah, when we try to talk to startup coaches or potential entrepreneurs, they talk about, number one, rent. Of course, that's killing most of the innovation, many business opportunities in Hong Kong right now. Well, you can still live with your parents, and possibly a few young people crammed together into a very tight office space. That could work. But what about number 2, the lack of or shortage of necessary talent, like competent programmers, product managers, like that? How do you solve that problem?
I think the thing is, being a staff founder is to solve problems, right? I see some of our engineers are in the audience, right? The thing is, he's not from Hong Kong. For example, hey, Jimmy, I'm talking about you. He's from Korea, right? I think the thing is, the talents are everywhere. If your company is good, you can attract talents from everywhere so that you can extend your talent pool. And the thing is, there are tons of smart people in Hong Kong. Some of my friends, they just got hired by Apple or Facebook or Google and work in the States. So I think there is definitely a talent. But whether you can find the talent to believe in you, believe in your shitty startup, and then to work with you, I think that is the real challenge. Yeah.
All right.
So start with your friends. If you can't convince your friends to join you, basically, you are doomed anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. So my next negative question, what about scalability? For a city of 7.5 million people, there's hardly any scalability to talk about, for especially for online to offline services, for a social network like yourself. How do you solve that problem?
I think that problem, I think Stephen can answer that. But I think from our standpoint is, we are based in Hong Kong, but we don't really think that we are just a Hong Kong company, right? Because our users are all over the world. But when you talk about the market size, if you see further away, there are tons of people in the world, right? For countries that are smaller than, I wouldn't say smaller, but have a smaller population, like Finland or Israel, right? They have tons of great companies. So if you always just say that, hey, we lack of this, we lack of that, then just go back to work for HSBC, right? So that you don't have to complain that much. Yeah, that's how we see it. That's why whenever we see that there's a whining, there's a complaining, then probably you are not good for startup anyway.
All right. Okay, let's move on to Stephen then. I have listed some of the most common negatives for startup. And for you guys, it could be particularly difficult because you're not a pure online service.
Yeah.
You actually have to, most of your actual job is done in the real world.
Yes.
And you have to compete with real world logistics giants like Kerry,
Yeah.
like all these other big names. How did you survive so far?
So at the beginning, we look at our company as a business, not a tech startup. Before we have a product called Gogovan, we just sign up drivers on the street, talk to them on the street. At that time, we don't have any talent to help us because as an entrepreneur, our job, our day-to-day job is to solve problems. No matter you don't have the skill set, then you have to learn it or you ask someone to help. So at the beginning, we don't have garage here in Hong Kong, so we was three of the co-founder was stuck in a really small, like 100 square feet industrial, in a small room in an industrial building. So that's how everything started. We don't use computer much actually when we start. We just go on the street, talk to the drivers, and at that time we don't talk about like market size, whatever is it. Then after we got really legit traction, then we think, okay, how we can streamline everything. How can build a platform that easy for us to use, solve our own problem. Then we turn all our driver pool and the customers contact that we have into a number of WhatsApp group. So at that time, we had like 10 of drivers WhatsApp group, and each of them only allowed 20 people. So now it's different. 3 years ago, only 20 people in one WhatsApp group. So we're trying to solve different problems at a different stage. And then we found to manage 10 WhatsApp groups, really, really chaotic. Then we think, okay, we need to build a platform. End up being a Gogovan platform. So that's how we kind of survive at the first stage. But kind of touch upon on your market size. Then we started the company with only 20,000 Hong Kong dollars, by the way. And then we run out of money in 2 months of time. And then when I started to kind of borrow money from friends and family, and then we got some investment from Cyberport. So that was helpful. But when I talked to investors, they said, hey, you guys are focusing in Hong Kong. We have around 7 million people here. If everyone gives you $1 per year, which is really nice, and you are asking me for a couple million US, I don't think how that math work out.
Exactly.
So that's why our Series A was raising from Singapore and telling the story that we are focusing on Southeast Asia. And the market size definitely is a big challenge here for startup here. But that's how we kind of survive the first stage. By the time we have traction, we can dream bigger and think how we replicate the model in other area.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your next markets to move into, to expand into?
Well, still sticking with Southeast Asia because right now we are in Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, and China, and just started India. I think we are busy enough to manage all this market already, and we are studying. We just closed a new round of funding, so that will further fuel our further growth in Southeast Asia. We are looking into probably Thailand, Vietnam, or even Indonesia. So it's still under this discussion.
Right. Since we're talking about how important Hong Kong is, are there any particular Hong Kong characteristics that you think would help you guys make it easier for you to expand into these markets?
I think the global talent. 3 years ago, not many people from the world coming to Hong Kong. Hey, I want to do a startup here, and it seems to be really international here. It seems to easy to leverage to investor. We are a financial center. Most of the financial guys, they don't invest in startup 3 years ago. But now you have seen more growth VC, angel investor here. So that's kind of the beauty part that we do startup in these 2 years. But I think one of the really good positive point that I have seen is the global talent is kind of, we become a magnet whenever from Europe or from the US, when they look at new opportunity in Southeast Asia, Hong Kong will be one of the places that they consider. That is one of the niche that we will have.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
So our next guest, well, this would be a very different story. Your father, Mr. Alan Zeman, is known as the father of Lan Kwai Fong.
Yeah.
And I think Well, that makes you the brother of Lan Kwai Fong. And of course, your father started his currently sprawling business and entertainment empire as a startup when we were talking about this backstage in the 70s. But things have changed so much since then.
Yes.
You guys have, from a startup, become part of the entertainment and dining establishment here in Hong Kong.
Yes.
How do you stay relevant to the startup scene here?
Well, for us, I mean, echoing what Stephen just said, Hong Kong is the globalized city. So there's people from all over the world, and all of our customers for years and years in Lan Kwai Fong have always been from all these different places. We're the original social networking platform. It happened to be offline when it started. The technology wasn't there, but now the technology is there where we'd like to put people together in social aspect, but also in business aspect. There's so many entrepreneurs through the years that I've seen who've started their businesses in Lan Kwai Fong. They've met investors in Lan Kwai Fong and collaboration partners, and then gone on to much bigger things. So, for Hong Kong, we're just a microcosm of what Hong Kong is. Hong Kong is a super connector, connecting businesses to mainland China, but also connecting mainland China to Southeast Asia and the rest of the world.
And obviously, Hong Kong's entertainment industry is very unique, not just in Asia, but in the whole world.
Yeah.
So as a dominant player in the entertainment industry here, how do you combine this spirit of very adventurous, very business-oriented spirit into your current involvement in local startups?
Well,
does that help you in any way?
Definitely does. So in Lan Kwai Fong, we've just opened a new building, California Tower, and we've put into, on the 21st floor, a space called Meta, which is run by the Nest Group, where they're one of the proponents for turning Hong Kong into a real ecosystem for startups. It's a founders club. Meta is a place where you can go as a startup founder or anyone related to startups and technology and hang out there, meet other like-minded people, have business meetings, listen to talks and panel discussions and things like that. So really it's connecting those people together in that physical space. For us, we have a lot of young customers, both in Hong Kong, Lan Kwai Fong, as well as the different Lan Kwai Fongs that we're opening in mainland China. So we look at how can we come up with new business ideas to cater to those customers. New startup that we're starting up ourselves is LKF TV. So it's a TV platform that puts together music, food, travel, fashion, all the things that you'd expect to find in a place like Lan Kwai Fong, puts together into a platform not only about what happens in Lan Kwai Fong, but about all these things from around the world. So we can package this content, and then currently content is king. There's all these different technology platforms that are looking for content, whether it's something like Facebook, YouTube, Youku, Leco, LeTV, even TVB themselves have a new My TVB, OTT set-top box, so they need to change their business model as well. So for entertainment at the moment, technology is really providing a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of challenges for some of the older players.
It's funny for someone in my industry to hear someone in the entertainment industry say content is king. I thought that line has been worn old by us media types, but okay.
It's still true.
Yeah. What about the physical side of entertainment, like the wining, the dining, the food scene, the gyms, and the information side, as you just mentioned, TV, virtual entertainment, even virtual reality for the future. How do you weigh these two different aspects of your business?
I think there will always be offline entertainment. Human beings are very social, and we need to see each other and hear each other and touch each other, and sometimes eat together and drink together. But technology is now, as we see with social media, is changing the way we socialize together. New technology like virtual reality will also be a big game changer in terms of how we socialize. And then augmented reality, AR, is going to be an even bigger change once that becomes a little bit more mature in the next few years. So for us, we look at the technology, like anyone else in this room, as the enabler of of bringing every business forward. We need to disrupt. We need to innovate or die, basically.
All right, we were just talking about this. You need to continue to disrupt. So for the Lan Kwai Fong Group and your related business in particular, what's the next business area in Hong Kong that you are going to disrupt?
A very good question. In Hong Kong itself, there's many different business sectors that kind of are waiting to be disrupted, whether it's entertainment and media. We've had a little bit of a monopoly for many, many years. Or the types of businesses that Stephen and Ryan have been disrupting. So for us, we're always looking. We've just started a small video game and virtual reality startup. Well, it's not a startup yet, but it's pre-startup, and we'll see how that goes. And hopefully that can be something that can turn into a new business.
All right. Well, it seems like we have only 1 more minute left. So let's return to the fundamentals. Again, the economy, the macro economy doesn't look very good for Hong Kong. It doesn't look very good for China either. So how do you, what's your view on your own business's future? Hong Kong versus mainland China, even the whole of Asia. What challenges do you see for the future?
Bad economy is great because it unlocks a lot of talent from financial sectors, from some more traditional sectors, right? Because right now in Hong Kong, for the first honors, students graduated from college, they all work for investment banks. Right now, if the investment bank is firing people, then they will join startups or they will start startups. That's the good thing, good news for us. Yeah, of course, right?
True.
And somehow, thank you. Yeah. But I think somehow for startups, usually we run very lean, we run it very efficiently. So it doesn't matter that much to us. Of course, it may be harder for us to create revenue. But maybe when you run it more efficiently, it helps to get the business from some old business. For example, maybe you use Gogovan is much efficient, much price economic than other business, right? Then you will use Gogovan. Yeah, that's how we see this is an opportunity for startup. Yeah.
All right. We have run a little bit over time, so very quickly for Stephen, for someone much more connected into the real economy, how do you cope with the challenges in the future?
Well, I think it's a good time for us to expand because the cost is much lower. Based on Ray's comment, I got a lot of business. We are in the logistics space, and we have seen logistics has been like slowed down extremely fast this year, compared even to 10 years ago. So right now, it's a good time for us to expand our team and then tap into some of the traditional business that we cannot do before. So I see it's a good time for us to, it's really optimistic about the economy right now for my industry, because I have the opportunity to have the real chance for me to disrupt it.
All right. Thanks a lot. Looks like we have a little bit over time. I think we're going to be joined by the co-host of Rise with some members, representatives of Hong Kong's best startup companies.
Hey everybody, it's me again. I just wanted to add a little epilogue to this panel. So over on the other side of the conference today, we had a breakthrough stage where we gave a stage to 20 unfunded startups. So at 4 p.m. today on this stage, we'll be awarding the pitch stage winner, but and the other competition was for breakthrough for new startups. And I'd like to bring up the winner of this year's breakthrough, MedExo. MedExo, please come up. All right, Dennis, what is MedExo?
So actually, I started this project when I noticed that my uncle has the Parkinson's disease. So this is a disease that causes the hands shaking. So even holding a cup of water is a difficult task for him. So I'm quite interested in developing robotics, wearable robotics. So I start to design a wearable device for him to stabilize the motion. And then we finished a working prototype, and we have put it on him to test. We have successfully to stabilize up to 70%. This is a great breakthrough for us. And then we get into an AI accelerator program. And also maybe we will get into a Hong Kong Science Park soon. We are still talking with them. And also we win got some Gold Award and some startup event like this. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so you're making basically an Iron Man arm for Parkinson's disease. Is that right? Yeah. That's awesome. Awesome. Very cool. So Dennis will be over at Breakthrough if you want to check it out because it's pretty cool. But I wanted to ask the old startup guys, like this guy's super old. What advice do you have to the new generation startup going forward today? You just heard his crazy new idea. Now he's embarking on a whole new career, whole new trajectory with what he's doing. What do you guys think? Some good lessons for a new Hong Kong startup?
Before you want to put all the device on every Parkinson's disease people in the world, make sure you solve the problem here in Hong Kong because you're based here. Don't dream too big, but build the company step by step, really step by step.
Ray, do you have something?
Forgot all we said. Just find your own superpower, right? Because we are not solving your own problem. Probably all the guys here who give you advice, they don't know shit about your company, right? So you just find your own power, solve the problems, talk to your user, for example, like your uncle. I think that would be the best way to expand your business. Yeah.
Cool. Lan Kwai Fong Group?
Don't spend all your money all at the beginning, right?
Very good. Thank you. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.